Technologien verändern sich und damit natürlich auch die
Technology
Customer
changes
Touchpoints.
and also the customer touchpoints change. 4 years ago, nobody knew TikTok, and 8 months ago, nobody knew what ChatGPT is. So let's take a closer look at the customer journey of the present and maybe also the future.
Fangen wir an mit dem Thema Discovery.
Let's start with discovery. Where do you build brands? I remember very well when I was a child, it was huge when a car was presented in James Bond. But let's be honest, who is going to watch a movie in the cinema compared to media consumption? Cars are for the young generation. They play a big role among teenagers. Cars are very important if you take a look at the users of premium brand cars on TikTok. I also think it's very important that serial format have a huge impact on brand building. So on these two channels, the brand stories of the future are being told. So the question is, do automotive brands also need a Netflix strategy on top of a TikTok strategy? The second part is the digital experience. We know that in the last 2 years, we've heard a lot about the metaverse. And BMW are very committed. They do gaming and digital items. They build metaverse experiences and mixed reality experiences. What's also important is how active brands are already on Roblox. On Roblox, you need to build digital worlds, which will be even easier due to generative AI.
Spannend natürlich auch in der Design- und Prototyping-Phase für das Automobilunternehmen.
Well, you can use Roblox, you can enter something that you want to use, and you can build the digital assets and build and simulate the corresponding worlds.
Roblox ist zum Glück umsonst.
Roblox is free of charge, so it's easy to use, in contrast to the Apple Vision Pro that costs $3,500. If you can afford that, you will have another form of immersive experience. If you want to experience a car, you don't even have to do a test drive, but maybe you might just have an experience in spatial computing with your headset. So what about ChatGPT? Currently, if you want to inform us about certain cars, we use Google. In the future, I could use ChatGPT and prompt create a table comparing the BMW X and the Tesla model and the Porsche Cayenne, and then I get all the parameters I want. You have a car expert at your disposal at all times. So ChatGPT is a great research tool also as a consultant. You can also use it as a consultant. So that would be an option for people to do some research about cars. Also, if you want to rent a car, meanwhile, you can use ChatGPT plugins to enter. I'm planning a trip from LA to San Francisco on the 1st of July. Please give me some car rental options. And by the way, I prefer SUVs from BMW, Tesla, and Porsche. Maybe you can also say that you've got 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a mountain bike. And the corresponding plugins will be activated. In this case, by Turo, you get all the options and it's also linked directly. So ChatGPT creates a whole ecosystem. Now the question is, does every automotive brand and every car rental company need to be integrated in AI tools, like, for example, search engine optimization? That is also very natural nowadays. Let's take a look at the next point of the customer journey, AI assistance. If I go on a website right now, you can inform yourself about cars. For example, Mercedes-Benz is offering onboard assistance, so they are using OpenAI to do voice and language integration. But when it comes to buying a car, I personally wouldn't know what's the difference between a BMW X5 and X6. And I would have to take a look at both models and do the comparison myself. Ideally, I would just like to ask someone, what's the difference between these two models? And what would you recommend for a family? And in that case, it would be great if I could have a talk with an AI assistant in real time.
Und wir sehen eben, dass diese Antworten
and as you can see, the answers are really great. We've got digital avatars that can speak several hundred languages and dialects, and BMW can respond to them in real time. And I think these technologies are so enhanced that in the future they could be implemented in purchasing process as a standard. And I think that would help me very much and much more than the regular website. What's also exciting are the translation options, the individualization options, and so forth. So what's ChatGPT telling me? If I want to have a comfortable car and a sporty car, I would choose the X6, which some of you might have known. I wouldn't. Let's continue with number 5. We've heard a lot about the metaverse, AI, and so forth. The physical experience is also very important, an important touch point. However, maybe not the regular car saloon or showroom, but rather this new option, like, for example, the Mercedes-Benz brand space that you can visit in Munich. And I love it because, other than that, I don't have touch points with Mercedes-Benz, and they are really at a central location in Munich. You can sit down there, have a cup of coffee, meet some friends. They have a fully equipped podcast studio where I went recently to do a podcast with a friend. So it's a real great place to meet. It's a physical location with digital touchpoints. So, how will the customer buy their car in the future? Via social media, first. Second, the more immersive experience. Third, the Roblox Metaverse, Apple Vision Pro. Then what's also very exciting, the role of tools like ChatGPT in the purchase process. How can we better integrate AI assistants on board or also in the purchasing process? And finally, the physical experience that is, of course, replaceable. And I would like to discuss that with you, Philip. Thank you, Theo, for these interesting insights. It's great to have you. Welcome to the MHP Festival, the new customer journey. Let's be honest. If we take a look at our automotive and manufacturing customers, do you already have some examples for our customers, something striking? Or among the Chinese automotive manufacturers, where you'd say that's an impressive customer experience? We've had that video interview before, and I would like to give you an example from a different brand. I used to buy a Jura coffee maker, and I went to their website, and there was a button, Chat Now. And I thought, well, that would be a regular chat text, but it was actually a live chat. So I met a nice lady in Switzerland. She was in a studio, and she had all the coffee making machines next to her, and she was very patient in answering all my questions. So that was a very physical customer experience, much more physical than in a shop. And it's really easy. And they've been doing this for 10 years. And this is an example of the fact that you don't need highly complex technologies to fulfill your customers' demands. These are very simple solutions that can have a very positive impact. Absolutely. What do you think? Why is customer experience so important? Why has it become so important? Well, we all know the motto, customer is king and the customer is our focus, but the customer experience has taken this whole matter on another level. And what are the factors that have caused this trend? Well, there is more and more competition. You cannot just afford to make mistakes because the brands are so great that they wouldn't accept mistakes. But on social media, you have good and bad customer experiences that are amplified. Then there is, for example, the factor 10. If you have a bad customer experience, your 10 best friends will hear about it. But today, with TikTok and their social media, it's a factor of 1 million. But it also applies to positive experiences. Really great customer experiences are not one-to-one, but one-to-many, because people talk so much about this experience and communicate it about so much. In the automotive area, but also in the manufacturing area, we are experiencing different business models, direct-to-consumer, fast-moving consumer models. Do you think that customer experience will still play an important role, or is it rather that we will focus on certain demands like mobility? How important is customer experience in that respect? Do you see certain shifts towards other platform players, or is the brand even still very important? I think there will be very contrasting trends. I think we will have both. When it comes to mobility, and you use Uber or Free Now, we have to say that cars are commodities. You want to go from A to B, you use your app, which is your interface, and you don't care whether it's Audi or Mercedes or whatnot. But if it's direct to consumer, you choose a specific brand. You then want to go to a Tesla showroom or the Mercedes-Benz showroom. You maybe very early on identify with a brand or are very specific about a brand. You call yourself a BMW customer or a Tesla customer. And I think this goes back to social media. And I think TikTok or other platforms are still underestimated. But these are the people that you need to reach out to, who are not that young, by the way. TikTok 30 plus, Insta 40 plus. So if they don't buy a car, I don't know who does. Yes, that's absolutely true. One of the big mega trends, you've already mentioned it, is one app or super apps. WeChat in China, you have one app that includes many different functionalities. Now, our customers work in the automotive area and they try to get revenue streams, further revenue streams from the car. What do you think, if we take a look till 2030, to our strategy 2030, what will automotive or car makers play in the role? Will they be pushed out of the market by super app builders, or will they also develop super apps and create a whole ecosystem like e-commerce? Well, the dominant ecosystems of our times are those of Apple and Google, and you need to be very present there. Or in China, it's WeChat. A company like Meta cannot build an ecosystem alone. It would be very ambitious if a car maker wanted to do that by themselves. But I'm always surprised if I hear a car maker say, we are not Apple compatible. I must say, well, what a pity that you cannot participate in the billion best paying customers worldwide. There is always a threat that the platform becomes the gatekeeper, and what's behind that doesn't play a major role. But I think if ChatGPT could be a super app, people might enter all kinds of things and rely on choosing the best provider, but at the end of the day, it might be a certain black box, and customers do no longer understand how the suggestion came about. And if that happens, the car makers would have to spend a lot of money on advertising again or be out of the game. So on the one hand, it's yes, you want to have direct customer relationships, direct customer communication. And on the other hand, there are major platforms that are almost irreplaceable. We've already heard about ChatGPT, generative AI models. What do you think? There are many trends like blockchain, the metaverse, and whatnot, but if you do the reality check, it hasn't really happened yet. My everyday life hasn't changed yet. What do you think in terms of generative AI? What will it look like in 2 or 3 years? Well, skepticism is justified. Is generative AI not the same as 3D printing or virtual reality or drone reality? Some of the recent hypes. I think in the end, it depends on the consumer adoption. The investors can create hypes, but what's substantial is that the users use it. And you can see that 100 million users after 2 months, the fastest growing app of the world. Also, other apps like that have millions of users already. So people want that, and this trend will continue. And I think by the beginning of next year, probably, we'll have more than 1 billion people who every day very naturally use these AI apps. The difference with AI is that it affects all industries. TikTok, for example, is mostly relevant for consumer companies, and even within the consumer companies, it's only relevant to the marketing department, for example. And when it comes to AI, it's relevant to industrial goods, consumer goods, consulting, services, and not only for the marketing people, but it's important for product development, finance, controlling, HR. So this is a comprehensive trend affecting or impacting all areas.
Was würdest du uns, unseren Kunden empfehlen?
What would you recommend us, our customers? How to approach that topic? Is it about trying out a lot? Is it about bringing applications into the everyday work? What would you recommend us, our consultants, our customers? Well, coming back to the customer journey that I was talking about, it really does make sense to take a look at all these topics between 10 and 100 hours so that you can get an idea yourself. You can read a lot, you can read many studies, but you need to form your own opinion for you, whether it's fun or not, that virtual experience. Or does it give you a headache after 5 minutes? Do these AI bots really help you, or is it just very generic? It's just like TikTok. You might have many views, but do they lead to conversions and leads? And can we actually present our brand as we want to? So you need to recognize the trends and observe them, and then try them out for yourselves. You need to find out how your customers work and then find out whether you can implement all of these technologies. Theo, thank you so much for your insights. Enjoy the festival. Take a look around. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for having me.